Hi there, I'm Lisa Rana, and I am so excited you have joined me for today's crafty adventure. And it's a fun one because we are going to just tear things up and go wild. I have all my supplies gathered, and it's very minimal. I'm only using one piece of pattern paper, and then I have my sentiments stamped on another piece of pattern paper, plus some craft cardstock. And what I have done is stamped the Pansy Praise stamp set from Unity Stamp Company on some pattern paper in different configurations, just randomly. I don't have a plan. And that's kind of the fun part is I've created all these elements and I will figure it out later. So we're starting with the stamped pansies. They are just so really beautiful and I've stamped them on some pattern paper. This is from the Country Loving paper pack from Unity Stamp Company. And then I grabbed my Distress watercolor pencils and I'm adding just a little bit of color. I'm picking up that pigment from the pencil with a water brush and then applying it directly to the paper. Now this is working because I am not using a lot of water. I'm picking up that pigment and then just laying down a wash. And then if I really want to make it more vibrant, I come back and layer over a second layer of color. And that will make it really pop against the first layer. And I'm using just one color per stamped panel. I just really want that pop of color, but not really an intense coloring effect. And I just love how this turned out. So this one singular color is really going to pop against the backgrounds that we're creating. Once it was dry, I am randomly tearing things. Honestly, I don't have a plan here. And I like this. It's just kind of freeing because I'm going to make it work in the end and I'm not restraining myself to an idea. So I'm tearing each panel and then I'm going to tear this pattern paper from Country Loving, and I'm just going to tear it into pieces, into strips, and then we'll use them in the end. But I love this organic feel of the tear, and I don't want there to be a lot of white, so that's why I'm kind of trimming these down. But I want there to be a nice torn edge and different organic shapes to play with. And then in the end, I will make them all work. And that's the fun, is we're just going to be kind of playing with puzzle pieces and make them all one card in the end. So I have all those craft cardstock bases. I'm stamping all of them with small details, one of my favorite background stamps, and then I'm just going to ink blend each one. And that's the base for every single card. I'm not varying that. And then I'm going to pull the first panel and I added a little bit of ink blending using vintage photo. I'm going to rough it up a little bit and then glue that into the bottom corner of the card base. And I'm really liking that. So now I just need to add, I don't know, maybe something extra. So I grabbed Distress Dots background stamp and I'm going to add some dots. I like this. So I've only added one more stamp set, keeping my supplies very minimal, and I'm going to add some distress dots just to the background to add a little bit of something something going on over there. And then grabbed one of those strips of the pattern paper, added a bit of distressed ink in the vintage photo, and I'm going to adhere that to the bottom of the panel. And then I'm going to pop up my sentiment right on top of that. I die cut it with the scalloped and stitched sentiment dies, added a bit of distressing and foam tape, and then popped that up on top. And really, I'm done. So this finished off card number one. I really love how all the elements came together. It's very simple and organic and just kind of came together perfectly. Next up for card number two, I just grabbed one of those random torn paper pieces and I'm going to glue that down. I don't have a plan. I just know that this is going to be the base, and I'm going to use what I think looks good. I didn't like that placement, so I flipped it around, and I really liked the way that the torn edges flowed for this one. I grabbed another panel of those torn pansies, and I'm going to glue that down right on top of that. I like how they layered. I really want to feature those pansies, but have a a little peek of that pattern paper behind. The pansy paper was just a little bit too big, so I'm just going to tear it down, make it a little bit smaller, and then add a little bit more distressing to the sides so it kind of blends into that background. And I'm really happy with that. It kind of has this organic feel to it that's very natural and torn and distressed. And I'm going to lift everything up to so you can see those layers, trim it down so it fits the size of the background paper. This one I decided to add a little bit of twine just for some texture. And of course, I love a bow, so we add a bow to the side. That'll give us a nice placement for our sentiment as well. I die cut that down with the scallops and banners die this time using that scallop edge, and I'm just going to slide it in and under that bow. For our third card, again, I grabbed my last panel, added some distressing with the vintage photo and just a randomness. I'm really embracing the random. I stamped over those distressed dots right on top just because I wanted to add a little bit more texture, and then I'm going to add it to the background as well. If you're ever in a spot where you don't know what to do with a feminine kind of feel card, just add some distressed dots. That's my answer. Perfect. And then I wanted to pull in some more of that pattern paper. I just think it's really pretty and it adds another pop of red, but I didn't know how to do it. So I took one of those strips that I had and I'm playing around with it, kind of deciding what kind of placement I want. I just want to pop. So I put it up to the top of that torn edge and I'm just changing the size, just tearing it and adding some more vintage photo distressing until I get something that I really like. I had this leftover strip of the yellow pattern paper that I die cut from one of the sentiments. I don't even know, it's just a random piece. So I grabbed it, add a few staples to it, and used that as an accent piece. And then I popped up my yellow pansies right on top, and then added my die cut sentiment with some foam tape, and then just trimmed everything off so it matched the edge of my panel. And that finishes off our trio of really random organic stamping and tearing of pattern paper and stamps and sentiments. I really love how everything turned out. It's kind of fun to challenge yourself with not having a plan and just giving yourself pieces to play with and see how it all kind of turns out in the end. I'll have all the supplies linked in the description of this video and at my blog, dollhouse-designs.com. If you have any questions or a sweet comment, post below. I love to read each and every single one. Thank you so much for creating with me. Be sure to like and subscribe to catch all my video tutorials, and it really helps my channel grow. Thank you so much. I hope you're inspired, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.